The vibe in Miami is tense, no doubt, but it's packed with stories that hit you right in the heart as a Dolphins fan. There are behind-the-scenes revelations nobody saw coming, statements that could shift the entire direction of the franchise, and on-field moments that are still echoing through the stands. And honestly, not everything's doom and gloom. There's still a spark of hope in the middle of this chaos. But at this point, any small detail could make a huge difference. Have you thought about what's really happening behind the Dolphins curtain? You won't believe what's unfolding right now. So grab a seat, hit that like, and let's dive straight into the news. And make sure to subscribe so we hit 1,000 subs and show the world how strong our fan base really is. After a game that already had fans on the edge of their seats, Sunday ended with a wound that goes way beyond the scoreboard, 29-27 to the LA Chargers. Another chapter of heartbreak for the Miami Dolphins. But hold up, the real issue might not even be on the field. That last-second field goal was just the trigger for what's been brewing behind the scenes. The team now has 4 losses in 6 weeks, decided by a single score. That alone grabs attention. But what came next was even more explosive. In the post-game press conference, Tua Tagovailoa dropped statements that hit like heavy artillery in an already tense locker room. He called out players for showing up late, missing exclusive team meetings, and even questioned whether attendance should be mandatory. The temperature shot up immediately. Here's where things really started boiling. For many, Tua didn't just point out team flaws. He made it clear that leadership his coach Mike McDaniels, even GM Chris Griers, was struggling to control the situation. Former linebacker Emmanuel Okoro didn't mince words. It's over for Tua in Miami. If teammates aren't showing up to meetings, it's because they don't respect the leader. If that's true, it's chilling. In a sport where trust and cohesion are everything, it's even the perception that your QB has lost the locker room shakes the foundation of the franchise. And let's be real, throwing 3 interceptions in one game doesn't exactly build credibility. The narrow loss tells one story, but the performance on the field tells a whole different one. The fallout is massive. First, it casts doubt among fans, not just about this season, but about Tua's future leading the offense. Second, McDaniel and Grier are under the microscope, because if the locker room is fractured, it's on them to recognize it and act. Third, any spark of negativity can ignite into a full-blown crisis when your record sits at 1-5 and the team looks so unstable. And don't underestimate it. The upcoming games could define the season. Next up, the Cleveland Browns, also struggling at 1-5, but at home. On paper, it's a chance to bounce back. In reality, if the internal divisions persist, even a winnable game could turn into a nightmare. What fans really want to know is simple. Were Tua's words a leadership move, trying to impose discipline, or a misstep that fractured relationships within the team? When a captain talks publicly about internal failures, the impact can either save or sink a season. And judging by the vibe in Miami, it's anyone's guess which way it will go. Just when you thought Tua's post-game comments were the peak of tension this week, think again. In the hours following, another key figure spoke up, and his words hit Miami like a thunderclap. Devin Akane, the electric running back who always injects energy into the team, made it clear his patience had run out. The way he delivered it showed the problem runs deeper than anyone realized. In his press conference, Akane didn't need to name names. The message was in the tone. As a team, he said firmly, we have to hold everyone accountable. As men, we signed up to give 110%, not just coast. Straightforward, demanding, full of frustration. And here's the kicker. His remarks came right after 2As about players missing or being late to meetings. No explanation needed. Akane didn't directly call out the QB, but everyone got the connection. They were mirroring each other, one calling out teammates, the other calling out leadership. The result? A team looking more divided than ever. This streak of close losses is pushing the locker room to the edge. Losing to the Chargers, after letting a game slip against the Panthers, destroys any remaining confidence. When the record sits at 1-5, it's no longer about playoffs, it's about survival. But there's a silver lining. Even in the chaos, Akane showed emerging leadership. A presence ironically missing from some of the more seasoned names. He didn't attack anyone, didn't air grievances publicly, but demanded commitment. That kind of stance shows character, the type of attitude that, if received the right way, could unite the team. The problem? The emotional climate is so fragile that any word becomes ammo for speculation. Behind the scenes, rumors say McDaniel is scrambling to put out fires. On one side, the QB and running back are sending subtle or not-so-subtle messages about discipline. On the other, the locker room is losing confidence in the leadership. And in the middle of it all, the media does what it does best: amplify the drama. This discussion about accountability isn't new, but now it's urgent. McCain's words highlighted a collective question. Who's really carrying this team? The veterans or the young players? Are the coaches being firm enough? And perhaps most importantly, is anyone willing to lead by action, not just words? Time is ticking. If Miami doesn't find a clear identity before Week 7 against Cleveland, the 2025 season could go down as the collapse of the McDaniel era. And the most intriguing part? This tension only spiked after what went down in the locker room. Tua and McCain's statements reignited a debate about respect, leadership, and the franchise's future that nobody wanted to face yet. When it seemed like the storm had passed, the season's most explosive speech came from the one face fans expected to be calm. Tua Tagovailoa, the symbol of New Miami, opened up in raw, almost reckless honesty. The result was devastating. Players showing up late to meetings, guys not showing up to player-only meetings. That line alone lit the fire for every sports discussion this week. The problem wasn't just what he said, it was the timing, a high-pressure moment. 3 interceptions, and a loss that basically buries the playoff hopes. It was like throwing gasoline on a live ember. Historically, Tua's been the diplomat, the teammate's advocate, taking responsibility himself. But Sunday, he crossed a line. You could see the frustration he'd been holding in. Calm and composed most of the time, he now looked impatient, even bitter. Rich Eisen even nicknamed him Salty Tua, and that's exactly what we saw. A leader fed up with band-aids over problems. The fallout? Many in the NFL saw it as a major leadership misstep. Des Bryant was harsh. If you didn't say this in the locker room first, don't say it publicly. Many players don't respect Tua. Cold, direct, painfully true for fans who feel the team's core has lost its connection. These criticisms didn't come out of nowhere. Tua ranks 3rd in the league for interceptions and has shown clear discomfort with the offensive system. Speaking out might have been an attempt to push teammates and coaches. But the effect was the opposite. Public cracks exposed, speculation about his future in Miami flaring. On the flip side, some fans defend him. In a team without direction, someone had to speak up. Tua did what a captain should: make people uncomfortable, demand accountability. Opinions are splitsome. See a leader trying to save a ship adrift. Others see a player breaking under pressure. And in the middle of this storm is the biggest question: what's next for the franchise? With McDaniel under pressure, the locker room fractured, and Tua facing internal distrust, the project looks off balance. If management doesn't act fast, the consequences go beyond one bad season. They could mark the start of a complete rebuild. No one expected these comments to ripple all the way to the executive offices. Sources say management isn't happy and patience with Tua could be at an end. His clock in Miami is ticking fast. The ironic twist? It could all turn around in a surprising win against Cleveland. But honestly, who really believes the locker room is tight enough to rally together? What we've seen in Miami over the last few days goes way beyond losses or stats. It's about leadership, accountability, and the weight of wearing that Dolphins jersey. Tua, Akayan, McDaniel, they're all in the eye of a storm that will define Miami's future. But the darkest hours are when true teams reveal themselves. Will this roster still believe? Can the locker room rise from the ashes? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit like and subscribe to show the strength of our diehard fan base.